Today, is Animal Crossing too easy for hardcore gamers? I mean, yeah, probably. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint. I'm Point.
And I'm Check.
Oh, did it in the wrong order. Okay, hang on. All right, got this. Welcome to CheckPoint.
I'm
Choint. I don't really understand how this keeps happening, but another post on the forums for vehicle-based war simulation War Thunder has been removed for linking confidential or restricted documents. I get that when you're making a simulation game, you're going to attract all of the most invested players, but come on, gamers. Anyway, user Space Navy 90 wanted to be the most correct user in the thread and to show support for their findings of exactly how an F-16A could use AIM-120 air-to-air missiles. They posted 4 pages of the F-16 flight manual. You know, as one just has lying around. While not classified, the documents were export restricted, and exporting them when restricted is not something the US government would like you to do very much. Developers Gaijin Entertainment quickly deleted the links, but didn't take action against the user who, at time of writing, was still ass-deep in several arguments about freedom of information requests. But I yield to the experts on this. Gaijin Entertainment has had to deal with similar issues at least 5 times since 2021. Where are you people even getting these documents?
Feeling burned out on Animal Crossing New Horizons? Well, why not drain the remaining joy out of it by throwing away everything you've built and restarting on hard mode? The brainchild of YouTuber Nintentalk, ACNH hard mode is kinda like a Pokemon Nuzlocke run in as much as it requires players to obey hyper-strict optional rules designed to make the experience more challenging. But since you can't actually kill villagers in Animal Crossing, the focus is on killing the player's economy, with limits on how many crops and fruit trees you're allowed to have, and any chance of a cohesive layout by letting starting villagers pick their house spots. The rules are far too numerous and specific to go into fully, but to give you an idea of what hard mode entails, think about all the quality of life improvements Nintendo added to New Horizons, and then get rid of them. New Leaf, but without rude villagers. Why would you bother?
To say it's been a rocky couple of years for Ubisoft would be like saying their game Skull and Bones has been delayed slightly, which is to say, a massive understatement. After the delays, cancellations, and the games they have gotten out the door being met with middling reactions, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot emailed staff last week asking for their, quote, full energy and commitment to ensure we get back on the path to success. Continuing, quote, I am also asking that each of you be especially careful and strategic with your spending and initiatives to ensure we are being as efficient and lean as possible, which to anyone who works in the job industry sounds like warming staff up to the idea of being laid off. So Ubisoft employees are not happy, going so far as the French union Solidaire Informatique calling for a strike of its members at Ubisoft's Paris office. And while he did not comment on that potential strike in a company-wide Q&A with staff yesterday, Guillemot did apologize for the most egregious part of his employee letter, where he told staff that, quote, the ball is in your court to deliver this lineup on time and at the expected level of quality. As if he somehow hadn't been CEO this whole time. And when I say he apologized, he didn't really, you know, the kind of non-apology. He opened the Q&A by literally saying, I heard your feedback and I'm sorry this was perceived that way. Any quip I make won't be nearly as good as the employee question that asked, the ball is now in our court? For years, it has been in your court, so why did you mishandle the ball so badly that we, the workers, have to fix it for you? And it's hard to argue that management have fumbled the ball terribly when you look at something like Assassin's Creed Mirage, which was originally planned as an expansion for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, then was spun out into its own title to fill a production gap in 2022, but then got delayed, so it didn't even do that. I mentioned Skull and Bones at the top of the story, and that was originally an expansion to Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Remember Black Flag with the shanties? That was 2013. Hell, Beyond Good and Evil came out 20 years ago, and the sequel to that has been trapped in development hell for so long that the director quit to work at an animal sanctuary. He was also being investigated for being an alleged absolute shit pile to work for. But even that was 3 years ago now, and Ubisoft maintains the game is still on its way. So I don't know, maybe those employees are onto something. Perhaps the company is badly managed. Ubisoft is projecting a $537 million loss for their fiscal year ending this March, and for the company and CEO who for years fostered an allegedly hostile workplace and protected alleged abusers among its leaders, and who seem to repeatedly treat their employees like trash, what is a $537 million loss? I'd say a start.
A school of fish has recently committed identity theft and credit card fraud after a marathon session of streaming video games. The fish reportedly turned to a life of crime after intense video gaming left them angry, frustrated, and surely hopped up on fish balls. Fortunately, as the youth these days are hopelessly addicted to their cellular phones, the Finny foursome had been recording all of their exploits on video, streaming it live to the so-called internet. A warning, what you are about to see is disturbing footage of formerly innocent fish turned into animals. Initially, the fish were lethargic, idly swimming by arrows and letters, while a photosensor tracked their movements, translating them into character commands for the popular video game Pokémon Violet. Quickly, their mood soured once the game crashed, and the troubled turbats wreaked havoc on their benefactor's video game console, called a Switch in popular parlance. First, they altered the owner's name to Rowawawa, a clear reference to the aggressive and violent metal song Down with the Sickness, an exclamation intended to confuse and frighten our elderly target audience. But then they foreshadowed their intention to defraud our beloved bastions of security and finance, the innocent credit card company, by placing the Japanese yen symbol, seen here depicted as an ostentatiously decorated English Y, at the end of the account name. The fish then connected to the so-called Nintendo eShop, read the terms and conditions of purchases made through this cyber shop, and then fraudulently accepted them as they are not the owner of the console. Finally, they maliciously added 500 of these Japanese yen to the eShop from the credit card stored in the system, all the while brazenly displaying the credit card details on the screen for all viewers to see. The affected owner of the credit card and video game console released a video detailing the crimes, and judging from the tone of the video, they are adopting a zen-like attitude towards the fish, going as far as to contact the parent company, Nintendo, for a refund. No word on whether the fish have been taken into custody. When asked for comment on whether this is a sign of a larger aquatic crime spree our viewers should definitely be terrified about, authorities said, look, no one's going to get a fish police reference in our year of our Lord 2023. It's not even a joke. You should have gone with something from SpongeBob.
Did you know that Shigeru Miyamoto himself is the reason we don't have a Princess WaluPeach? According to a thread of interview translations by Twitter user Gosokyu, Shugo Takahashi, the co-founder of Studio Camelot, the studio that makes most of the Mario sports games, and who created Waluigi for Mario Tennis, pitched WaluPeach, but Miyamoto vetoed her before he even saw the design, because he assumed she'd look like Lady Donjuro, one of the bad guys from Yatterman. Which, given this picture of her, kind of makes sense. But according to the interview, Takahashi envisioned a Datenshi-style or fallen angel type character, which means WaluPeach would have been an evil goth princess? Miyamoto, you've either cursed us or saved us all, and I don't know which one it is. Oh, also, I have an idea for the fish showing the credit card number. Clearly, we need more safety precautions to prevent fish from buying things online. So, I suggest playing a video of a grizzly attacking a salmon before allowing any purchases to scare them away.
How about some sort of CAPTCHA? Fish are notoriously bad at identifying traffic lights.
Well, I'm also bad at those.
Oh, that's interesting. Kind of fishy.
Bloop.
Coming up, are you a fan of late 90s video game icon Lara Croft? Well, there's a new mode in Power Wash Simulator that lets you clean her house. Whatever. Close enough.
I love that it's specifically her weird blocky house from the PlayStation era games.
I had crossed my... I haven't even seen footage. I was just like, let it be this. Just let it be the simple...
Yeah.
Yes.
Does her weird butler follow you around the whole time like he does in the game?
Maybe he's walking around with towels, just kind of like buffing and drying the windows.
Did you ever play those games?
It's on PlayStation, my dude.
Of course not.
I didn't.
Yeah, okay. So, because when you're at her house, her butler, who's like this old, like decrepit man with a hunch carrying a tray.
Oh, good.
He just very slowly paths to you.
Ooh.
So you're like running around her house, exploring, doing stuff.
Yeah.
There's as you saw there's a obstacle course, right? And he just very slowly just paths to wherever you are. So if you let Lara stand still for a while, he'll eventually get to you. Unless you trap him in the walk-in.
Ah.
Or was it a safe? There's somewhere in the house that you can trap him.
Is that kind of like putting the hamster in the microwave? It's something they didn't mean to happen, but it happened?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. That's a Maniac Mansion reference.
Right, yeah,
I was reading a thing about Nintendo games, Nintendo gameplay counselors that had that come up apparently. Right. Nobody had known that you could put the hamster in Maniac Mansion, you could put the hamster in the microwave and then you could blow it up. And they apparently this guy was a gameplay counselor and a gameplay tester. He found that out and they were like, oh no. And they had to turf like all the cartridges that had been produced that far because they're like, you can't put that in the game because we'll have parents on our ass. Or yeah. Infamous.
I had not heard about that.
Yeah,
actually,
just a little piece of apocrypha.
Exporting them
Sorry, wait. That's actually a puzzle in Maniac Mansion 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to put a
You have
hamster
to
in a
do it.
microwave.
Yeah. Yeah. In the original, you could just do it if you wanted to, I guess.
That's really funny. I guess they were like, we're putting this in the sequel.
Yeah, no matter what, you have to do this now. When axed. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So Microsoft announced it was going to lay off 10,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people across their various...
Well, they need the money in order to pay for this Activision Blizzard acquisition.
Yeah. So the night before they announced that... Can you guess, if you don't already know? Do you know where I'm going with this?
Oh, I do, but I can pretend
All right.
I don't.
No, don't worry about it. Okay.
No, this will be fun. Let's see what I can make up.
Sure. Can you guess where many of the company's top executives were the night before announcing laying off 10,000 people?
Were they in their offices in Redmond agonizing over this decision that was surely going to affect tens of 10,000 people that were going to maybe possibly ruin their lives or, upend anything they could possibly do for the rest of their careers?
No.
What were they
in
doing?
Davos, Switzerland, at the Economic Forum. Specifically, they were in an intimate gathering of 50 or so people with a private concert from Sting.
Were they flossing their teeth with Nazi gold as well? Like, what the hell was going on here?
The theme of the event was sustainability.
Hey! That's how you get Sting to come out and do stuff like that. Yeah. Sting has a heart. Like, that's the thing. Is I look at Sting. I'm like, that is a man with a jacked up libido and also a really kind heart.
Yeah.
And probably had no idea that he was,
I doubt of course not. He wouldn't have known. But still, it's not like he needs the money. But oh my God,
sustainability.
Just the private concert from Sting in the Swiss Alps for 50 people. And then you go to sleep and you wake up the next day and go, by the way, we're laying off 10,000 employees. Yeah. It's like, holy shit. Yeah.
It's funny, too, because it's like, oh, well, the World Economic Forum probably paid for that concert. It's like, did they? Are you sure? Maybe they didn't. Maybe if it was a private concert, he was like, we need a way for people to unwind. Here's Sting.
I mean, as the Wall Street Journal says, while hobnobbing at Davos is part of doing business for major tech corporations and the events are planned far in advance, making it difficult to change them, some employees thought it wasn't the right time for a company-sponsored Sting concert.
Yeah, a bad look.
And it's like, yeah, maybe it is. It's not like they went to bed and woke up in the morning and then decided, oh, we do need to lay off 10,000 people. That'd be awkward with what happened last night. Surely this was planned way in advance, and they could have been like, hey, next week we're going to announce that we're going to lay off 10,000 people. Maybe we don't. Go to Switzerland.
Maybe this isn't the look, my dude.
Anyway, it's been a great week for employees in gaming getting mad at their executive.
I mean, every week is a great week for that, but this one's a particularly,
this
tight
was
week.
this was a spicy week. Yeah.
Full of delicious flavor. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, there's a new mode in Parlor Wash.
Oh no.
Parlor Wash.
Oh. I finally got around to trying, speaking of video game companies making questionable decisions, finally got around to playing the intermission for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Hey.
The side story that stars Yuffie.
Okay.
And it's pretty entertaining so far. It's very silly. It's like it takes place during the prologue of the game when everyone else is doing stuff in Midgar.
And you don't even know who she is yet?
No, and the remake is like, also Yuffie was there. Also, here's a whole cast of supporting characters that you've never heard of before and presumably never will again. Here you go.
Until we make a game about them. Yep.
Yeah, now go around and challenge all the NPCs to tabletop wargaming.
What even is this game that you're playing?
I don't know, man.